Welcome back. It's Friday, our most exciting day here at Markets Today. At least for me, it's the day that I just looked forward to the weekend, look forward to understanding what was happening over the week in the markets and how to prepare for the next week. Now, we always ask you to talk to us and tell us what would you like to know. One of you asked us about Transcentury, and he was very curious about what is happening with Transcentury, what is expected to happen after the proposed delisting. What we have done here, the team at Markets Today from Metropole TV, is we have come up with a bit of a backstory to understand where did Transcentury start from and how is it moved from 50 shillings per share to trading slightly above 1 shilling per share. Let's take a look at the history. Remember, if you have any specific question, I invite you to ask us and we will answer it. After this, we'll take a short break. When we come back, it's all about listening to you. I've seen some of you have already started sending your messages. Thank you very much. 20146 is the SMS line. Ask me anything. If you won't ask me anything, say hello to me. We want to call it the Salams session, where we want to really just hear your voice and ask and be able to understand what your investment questions are and respond to that on our show. It's a new thing we are trying today, and we hope to hear from you. If the SMS number doesn't work for you, here's my phone. I'm ready and waiting for you. Twitter, Mbithe Mwema. Mbithe is spelled as M-B-I-T-H-E. Mbithe Mwema, you'll see a face that looks like this face that you're seeing. Give me a message. Facebook as well, LinkedIn, Instagram. If that does not work for you, you can see the banner, Metropole TV. Reach out to us. We want to hear your voice. It's Friday. We want to engage, close the week, and leave ourselves with a question: what will we do next week for investments? For now, let's take a look at who Transcentury is, where did it come from, and what has been the story so far. Our first graphic shows us who Transcentury is in terms of the company profile. So Transcentury was a company that was established in the year 1997 by a group of professional investors. These were high net worth individuals. They had a good vision for the country. They put together their resources, capital, their experience, their networks, and came up with Transcentury in the year 1997. Let's look at what comes up next. When it was set up in 1997, what did this company set up to do? This company was set up to actually engage in infrastructure. It's primarily an infrastructure company. It is listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and it has 3 core operations across 14 countries. We'll see the next slide, and just Transcentury, when it was set up in 1997 and when it started actively operating, it looked at the infrastructure gap in Africa, and it said that the infrastructure needs to be here. We don't have roads, we don't have electricity, we don't have water. When it set up its operations, it wanted to be an intermediary in terms of project management or execution of these projects by helping the different governments to be able to do this. It had a good trajectory in terms of its earnings growth, especially during the last executive office. During the time of President Kibaki, there was a lot of infrastructure that was being done, as well as turnkey projects, and every so often you could see Transcentury coming up and getting access to these opportunities. In April the year 2009, this was 12 years after it had already been established, the company shares became available to qualified investors in over-the-counter exchange. Now, there are different markets that operate. Nairobi Securities Exchange is the public market where you and I gain visibility of shares. Over-the-counter exchange is sort of like another little exchange that comes before the Nairobi Stock Exchange, where you have high net worth qualified investors who normally trade in that market. We take just a brief break and we will be back shortly, just touching on this particular slide.